Tony in the Woods 6. By Hak Jin Kim. Tony in the Woods. She looks at Tony and says, "The plan is great. I'm gonna do rock climbing 3 times and let people do rock climbing during my breaks. Of course, I'll help each of them. And I'm gonna ask my boss if I can borrow equipment for rock climbing," she adds. "Then we'll make rules, like those who buy stuff over $10 can do it." "What do you think?" Tony says. When Tony and Jenie make conversations, Ollie meddles in awkwardly. "We'll be there. We won't show up in front of people. We'll just watch and enjoy it on the tree. Do you mind?" "No. You're welcome anytime. By the way, can I ask where you're from?" "I'm just wondering 'cause I've never met your people," Jenie says, calling them people. "We're from somewhere you never imagine. It's what I can say to you," Eli sings. Jenie nods her head and smiles back at them. As the summer break has begun, preparations for the charity event are underway. David does his job as a coordinator with Becky and Tony, who is housebound unless his parents give him a ride, just texts them to know how things work. So far Tony has never mentioned to his parents about Jenie nor miniature man-like figures, thinking they'd rather be blind. Everything for the event is set on one summer day. Due to various circumstances, the event is held at the end of July. Under the summer heat, Tony arrives at the park first thing in the morning with his parents, who promised to support Jenie while hearing about her several days before the event. Feeling the warm breeze, Tony looks up the cloudless blue sky and says, I feel the warm air from the morning. Mom, Dad, are you gonna stay here all day? Or come back to pick me up? I can sleep over at David's house tonight if you allow me, Tony says to Maggie. Okay, no problem. But we'll stay as long as we want. Remember, be always careful. Oh, here comes David and Sue, Maggie says. As Sue stops her van at the parking lot, Henry opens the back door to take out things. Hi, Sue, how are you doing? Long time no see. We're sorry we couldn't share heavy stuff, Maggie says when Sue gets off the van. Oh, don't mention it. It's nothing, and you donated enough money, huh? Sue says, waving her hands and smiles. You know what? I made lunch for all of us. Homemade pancakes and special salads, Maggie giggles. While 2 women talk, 3 men are busy taking out outdoor tables, their favorite collections to sell and snacks. Soon Mary and Becky join them with beverages. All of them carry the stuff for the event to a designated area, where rock climbing wall is nearby. They arrange outdoor tables setting drinks and snacks, and a lot of stuff they have cherished. 3 teens spent their savings willingly for Jenie, and their parents have been pleased to help their kids buy money with warm support. Everything in the park looks good for Jenie. At last Jenie shows up on her black scooter and joins them. Hi, Tony, Becky and David. You're early. Oh, let me introduce myself to you, Mr. and Mrs. Brown, Jenie says, smiling. Oh, you're Jenie. It's nice to meet you. I'm Maggie and this is Henry. Sue and Mary, Maggie says, smiling. Sue and Mary greet Jenie, waving hands. You're the star today. We've been expecting your performance. Oh, don't feel pressure, Mary says, making a fuss. Jenie smiles at 3 mothers and says, thank you so much for this awesome outing. I was excited a lot when I was offered this event, and I'm deeply moved by your supports. I won't forget your caring about me. Soon, Jenie goes to the rock wall and places mattresses on the ground, which have been equipped for rock climbing in the park. After she looks around taking a deep breath, she begins to exercise and do some warm-up stretches. Around 10 o'clock a bunch of young people gather around the rock wall, and they order some snacks and beverages at the outdoor tables. While Tony and David are busy at each table, Becky stays near Jenie to do an errand. as Jenie climbs the wall by stepping small colored stones riveted on it one by one. Young bystanders seem to be fascinated and they begin to buy things for over $10 to get a ticket for a try. So, most of the stuff they prepared is sold in the early afternoon. And snacks are almost running out. Henry and Maggie leave for the store to replenish more supplies for tables. Most park goers stop by at the rock climbing wall to watch Jenie's performance. During the intermission, Jenie becomes busier with participants who want to try to climb the wall. Jenie hasn't had a break time from the morning until her last performance, scheduled as the finale of the event. When the time comes for Jenie to do the third performance, she looks tired a bit. But, on the rock wall, Jenie is so good at climbing the wall like a spider. She receives a loud cheer from spectators when she touches the ground. She smiles on spectators and turns around after people scatter over the park. She takes a few steps toward Tony, smiling on her lips. At that moment Becky says to David, "Hey, did you see Allie or Ollie? I haven't seen them anywhere around us. We were so busy that we couldn't think of them." "I think they've been watching us throughout the event," David says. In an instant, David sees Jenie stumble a little before Tony and falls to her knees, while Tony opens his eyes wide in shock. Allie, Eli and Ollie show up out of nowhere. "Tony, look at us. Don't be panic. She's not dead. She just passes out. Don't let them see us. Put your shirt on us," Allie sings in a low voice. As Tony puts his shirt on miniature men located on Jenie's chest. Mary and Sue come running to see what's happening. "Oh my gosh, she fainted. Is she breathing? Call 911. It's really hot," Mary says, at a loss. "Mom, don't fuss, please. She's just exhausted, and she'll be fine," Becky says. Tony and David lay Jenie on one of the outdoor tables, as Allie gives an instruction. And they stand next to Jenie watching Tony's shirt, which covers Jenie's chest. They wonder what miniature man-like figures are doing under the shirt. A quarter of an hour later they see Jenie lie with half-closed eyes. "Jenie, are you okay?" Tony says, touching her shoulder. "What happened? Why am I lying on the table?" "Oh, I was out of consciousness, wasn't I? It was so hot," Jenie says, sitting up. At the same time Allie, Eli and Ollie crawl out of the shirt and sing, "Hi, guys, we're here." "Oh, you were here with me. I heard songs for a while in my sleep. Thanks to you all, I feel so happy." "Oh, thank you so much for everything," Jenie says with tears of joy in her eyes. After the event is over, Mary drives home alone with her stuff, while Sue takes David with two teens to her house. Jenie is also invited to David's home for a sleepover. On the scooter ride Jenie thinks of Tony feeling a sense of belonging. She says to herself, "I'm a really lucky girl." In the late afternoon, Tony, David, Becky and Jenie go to the mall on foot to congratulate themselves on finishing the event successfully. Becky buys hamburgers and soft drinks. While eating they are excited to spend time together all day. They seem to be proud of their roles done in the park, as four of them feel closer to each other than before. They express their own emotions and thinking. As David and Becky hear Jenie's whole life from her mouth, they feel sorry for her, having to adjust to a harsh environment. Late at night four of them arrive at David's house for a sleepover. Since they are on their summer break, they feel easy about sitting up all night. In a big guest room Jenie and Becky sit on the couch side by side. When Tony and David get in the room to set the table for pizza, Tony says, "Wow, you girls look alike. You look like sisters, huh?" "Really? I didn't realize it. Now that you mention it, I see Jenie and I are blue-eyed and blonde," Becky says. "Yeah, Tony's right. Now I can see that. David says. Jenie smiles at them, looking up two boys, and shrugs her shoulders. Come on. Let's do something fun. David, bring any kind of card games, Jenie says.